Hello everyone, my name is Asif Iqbal Piyash and welcome back to another video from Bitvids. And today we are going to do this video in a little bit different way because we are going through another phase of lockdown and we can't really access the place where we usually do our shooting and filming. So that's why we'll have to do this in this more of a different format where we have to adapt a little bit. So I hope you guys don't mind, and I hope that soon enough we'll be able to get back to our usual place where we can film and do our usual funny stuff and everything that we do. But in this video we are going to talk about descriptive writing, and I'm going to share some ideas as to what descriptive writing is and how we can improve our descriptive writing and many other things related to descriptive writing. So let's get right into it. Alright, so first of all, what is descriptive writing? Now, as the name suggests, descriptive writing is describing something, right? So it can be the description of a person, it can be the description of an animal, it can be the description of an environment, it can also be the description of, literally anything, right? So, but the main important thing here to note is that whenever you are describing something, it has to be vivid. Okay, which means clear. So it has to be vivid, as when someone is reading your description, that person is having, or that person will get a kind of a clear, very clear view or a very clear picture of that particular description or of that object or that person, whatever you're describing. So that's why descriptive writing can often be a little annoying plus a bit difficult to grasp right way. That's the reason why descriptive writing is supposed to be practiced a little bit more than usual or any other format of writing, right? So at this point I should mention something, that if someone is trying to describe something or they are trying to write something in a descriptive way, then that person should have a very good picture of that object or that person they are trying to describe. So for example, if I am trying to describe a brown dog, then I should have a very, very, very clear picture of that particular brown dog. The reason being, if I don't have a very clear idea or a very clear picture of that particular object in my mind, it will become very difficult for me to describe. So the first and foremost thing that a person should do while trying to describe something is that they should have a very clear picture of that particular object or that person or whatever that thing is in their minds, and they should revisit it again and again and again and again, so that it is absolutely clear and it can be as clear as possible. All right. The second thing that you should remember is that it's very important to have or keep in mind of the five senses, right? So that's your sensory feelings, for example, your sight, your sound, your touch, okay, smell, all of these things, all of the five senses. The reason for that is whenever you're trying to describe something, a person needs to be immersed in that, let's say, in that particular situation. So you're trying to describe a scene on the beach, and if you're not describing those senses, then it becomes very difficult for the reader to actually go inside the scene and feel it the way you want them to feel it. So instead of just describing it bare bones, it should be very helpful to both for you and for the person who's reading it. If you want to, of course, if you want to engage your readers, it should be very important for you to describe the sensory feeling. So what was the sound like? What was the smell like? What did the sights look like? What were the colors like? What did the sand feel like, right? So all of these things. So everything that you can see, smell, or hear, okay, or you can touch and feel, you should describe everything. That is very helpful in writing a very good descriptive piece of writing. Alright, so the third thing that I should mention is that you should try and avoid something called redundancies, right? So by redundancies here I mean something that you are repeating again and again. So or you can also say it like this in terms of redundancies, that something that a person already knows for a fact, for example, green grass or blue sky. red rose. All right, so again, well, red rose can there can be different colors of roses, but because mostly we take rose to be red, so that's why that's why I gave the example of that red rose. But what I'm trying to get at is that if something is very well known, it is better that you don't use it. You don't use cliches. Now, of course, you can use it once in a while, every once in a while, but you should mostly try to explain the same things in a different way. So, for example, we already know if in a normal situation, if you just want to say the blue sky, you can say something else, the clear sky, right? So instead of a blue sky, you can say clear sky. That would be much more much more engaging in many different senses, because we know generally if the sky is clear, the sky will generally look let's say blue. Right? So avoid these type of redundancies where we already know something and then we are already repeating it again and again and again. Now, for the fourth and the final tip that I can give you right now, or at least for this video, otherwise this video is going to become very long, is that whenever you're writing something, especially when you are trying to describe very minute details, try to give as many adjectives as possible, right? So, of course, by trying to give as many adjectives as possible, I simply mean as many as should fit, or as many as is necessary, right? As you can genuinely fit in there, or organically can fit in there. You just don't need to cram it in there. But the thing is, whenever you're trying to describe something, if you just say if you're just using a bland simple sentence, then what happens is that yes, the readers will understand what's going on, but at the same time, or as a good writer you should do is try to give as much help, or as much as cues or clues as possible to the readers as possible, so that they can understand it much more easily, right? So as you should phrase the sentence in such a way so that they can understand, or they can picture that thing in their mind a little bit more easily. And this is why adjectives comes into play very they are very helpful in this manner, that the more adjectives you give them, the more describing words you give them, especially in terms of quality. So for example, I will give you a sentence right now. So let's say, for example, you're talking about a dog, right? So you're trying to describe a dog. So you say a sentence like this: the dog wagged his tail, right? So the dog wagged his tail. Now, of course, we can imagine here a dog wagging its tail, right? So, but what if, now this is a simple sentence, yes, I understand what the dog was doing and what I was trying to get at. There is a dog and the dog was wagging his tail. Let's say the same sentence in a bit different way. So we have the original sentence, which is the dog wagged his tail. Now look at this, let's say a little different way of saying it. So the brown cute dog wagged his small tail happily. Okay, I'll read it again. The brown cute dog wagged his small tail happily. Now you see the difference between the first sentence and the second sentence. The dog wagged his tail and the brown cute dog wagged his small tail happily. The second sentence has a lot more, let's say, engaging descriptions in it, or a lot more engaging adjectives in them. For example, the brown cute dog, instead of just the dog, wagged his tail, just not tail, small tail. And how did he wag it? He said happily, right? So this is a kind of a way in which you can become much more engaging, and also can become overall in general you can become much more descriptive in most of your writing. So I think I will end this video on that note here. And if you have any problems, please let us know in the comments below, and please follow us on our social media, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram, on our Twitter. If you have anything, just let us know, right? And we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you all understand what we are going through, and I hope that we all get through this together. So stay home, stay safe, and see you in the next one.